Now that you've learnt the basics of sketching, in that you can draw a straight line, you can decide where the beginning and end point of that straight line is, you can draw lines through centre points and also do curves through points as well, we're going to use those skills to start drawing more complex shapes. And you can see up here that I've drawn you a series of complex shapes with which to get started. Now with this, you're going to be using your blue pencil again to do most of your drawing, but we're now going to be introducing the 0.3 and 0.8 pens as well to help with outlining these shapes once we've drawn them. So as before, I'm going to be using my normal drawing pencil so you can actually see what I'm doing on the page, because it's quite difficult to see the blue pencil. So I'm going to show you how to do the simple rectangle first. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a series of guidelines. So down here, I'm going to draw out a rough rectangle shape, again, drawing with my elbow, not with my wrist, and turning my page so I have nice straight lines. So as before, I'm going to ghost the line, so that is going the right way, but quite lightly, I'm going to draw a line, turn my page, ghost the line, draw the line, and this time we're going to do two of them. It doesn't matter if the lines overlap in any way, shape or form. It also doesn't matter if it's not a perfectly 90-degree rectangle. I'm then going to subdivide this up as well, so you can see it's been divided into thirds. So again, ghosting my line and thinking, well, that's about a third there, and that's about a third there, and again, doing the line down the centre as well. And so you can see here we have a very roughly drawn rectangle with all the different edges subdivided out. This is where we now move on to using the fine liners. So we say we've got two different thicknesses. We've got a 0.3 and 0.8. Now you need to remember, thick lines are for outside, thin lines are for inside. So on our shape here, all the inside lines, so these lines here, are going to be in the 0.3. All the outside lines, these lines here, are going to be in the 0.8. So I'm going to very quickly just come over those lines, drawing them again, checking where I'm going, but because I now have lines to follow, it's going to be easier. So I'm simply going to go over my lines, again turning my page to make my life easier. Doing my inside lines, it doesn't matter which one you do first, it's entirely up to you. And now I'm going to do my outside lines as well. And there won't be a huge difference between the inside and outside lines at the moment. And that is completely okay. But you will find when you start doing more design work that it's easier to see that difference. So there we have the finished shape. Now when you move on to more complicated shapes here, this is where you're going to bring in much more guidelines, or lots more guidelines. So for example, looking at this shape here, I would want to sketch out the basic rectangle shape, divide it into sections, then I'd want to sketch out the triangle shape as well, and so on and so forth. So you need to think about the guidelines that you need for each shape to actually draw it out. Now when it comes to circles and ovals, instead of drawing a guideline first to fit within, and then trying to draw your oval within that guideline, it's sometimes easier just to draw a rough shape here. So for example, if I just go round and round and round in a circle, I am drawing quite lightly, you might not be able to see. I get a series of circles on the page, and I can then choose with my 0.8 pen, I can then choose which one of those lines is more circular. So when I go around it, you should get a better circular shape, which is not bad for a quick circle like that. So they don't have to be laid out as they are here on the page, but they do need to be on this space here. If you find you run out of space, just get a new piece of A4 paper, hole punch it and slot it in, and then you can draw them as big or as small as you would like. So have a go at doing all these different shapes, and if you find one of them particularly difficult, have a go at drawing it a second time.